This video's advice of the day is, long-term happiness and patience are far more fulfilling than short-term pleasure and instant gratification ever could be.
Hello everybody, today I'm going to make a comparison video because, well, I do have a bit to say about both of these comics. I don't think it's enough though. They warrant their own respective videos, so I just do one video where I talk about the both of them in one video. And the two comics I have here is I have Nancy Wears Hats by Fantagraphics, which is just a selection of 300 comic strips from Nancy by Ernie Pishmiller. Whereas I have Mafalda. This is supposed to be volume 1 of like a new English series, but I don't know because the first thing you really need to know about how bad the presentation is as well. For one, there's no volume number thing. It doesn't really tell you, oh, what volume is this in. The other thing I have to tell you too is there's nothing on the back. Nothing. There's nothing at all in the back. Like nothing at all. Apparently this is supposed to be a logo to the company that did this, I think. I don't know, but yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing. If you are wondering, there's 240 strips in there, which is a number that kind of bothers me because it's not 250, it's not 300, it's not even like a proper number. No, it's 240. So I was like, wow, okay, that's great. But yeah, I basically wanted to talk about them, especially because I remember Nancy. I was introduced to this comic by the Twitter account where they share comic strips of the character daily. Whereas Mafalda, I think it was just looking her up, or also if I remember right, there was the cartoonist Juan Padron, where he was friends with Quino, and they kind of crossed over a bit. There was also that Juan Padron also directed a movie or animated shorts with the character, so that's kind of how I learned about this Argentina character. But yeah, I'm going to talk about both of them. The first one I will talk about is Mafalda, and this is the one I actually like the least, and you will see why. So I've definitely already mentioned the presentation where this is just baffling. Like, there's not even like any information at all. Nothing at all. Like, you know, this would have been a perfect place to tell you, oh, here's what newspaper it was from, the Argentinian newspaper. Here's which years was it printed in, who made the book. So it's like, yeah, that would have been perfect, but nope, it's blank. I don't know if they ever put out a new edition, but this is how I got it.
Something I should add further to this complaint of mine about the fact that there's no information to the back of the book is, here's the most baffling part of it. There is a description that could have gone on the back of the book, but instead was on the online listings and here on the publisher's website. So it begs the question of why on earth didn't they do it? Like, I mean, at least it's something. Sure, they still didn't really put any date or really talk about when was this comic published or what newspaper it was for, but still, this is way better than nothing. Good grief.
But hey, at least they told you who translated it. That's great. So, oh, I just realized they tell you who did it right here in the book here. If I can get the camera to focus right. Yeah, look at that. Elsewhere Editions. That's who did it. And they didn't even tell you that on the book. Unbelievable. But anyway. So I feel like the first strip right away kind of just gives you a good example of what are my problems with the book. For starters, you will notice how the formatting of the text is a bit poor, where you will notice here the text is probably bigger because you'll notice how when they put it in English in the font they use, it's kind of an okay font, but you'll notice how the text, it's really awkward. Like it's to a point that it would have been better if someone handwritten it. But yeah, no, look at that. It's just like you have all these spaces and it's just really awkward. Then again, it's probably the fault of I won't even say it's Quinlan's fault. It's just a matter of just how he did it stylistically, where he decided to write a bit funny, and then did bubbles that properly wrapped around his words. But still, I'm talking about how it's really awkward, how the bubbles are shaped very particularly, and the words don't really fill it up at times, especially when they yell. Or I'll show it, but like it doesn't work out either. But definitely the one I definitely gotta mention here is I'm just not a fan at all of how the comic has a lot of political commentary of its time, where there's a lot of themes of, oh, I wanna, like, oh, Argentina's bad, or whatever the hell, or oh, my ideology, and it's just all sorts of stuff that it's just like, why it's like boggling to me is the fact, I mean, well, this is a comic strip with yeah, these young kids, and it's like, well, they're supposed to be kids, why the hell would they care about any of this? It's stupid. Like, I even, like, halfway reading it, I immediately went, hang on. This is a lot like The Simpsons. Like, this is basically like Lisa whenever she goes on her tangents, like, oh, I'm a libtard. I care about all this environment stuff. And it's, like, really stupid. It's baffling, too, because you have strips like this where the jokes is coming from, you know, the characters themselves, such as, like, Mafalda bringing toothpaste, mixing it up with the, like, she left her paint here, and yeah, she tried to paint with toothpaste, which, yeah, that's funny. That is very funny. But still, like, you just have jokes that are just, like, they're not even really jokes that come from the characters. It comes from, oh, what was going on at the time? And that sort of stuff just leads humor to be dated like that. And look at this. This is a good example of what I'm talking about. Look at that. This is terrible. This big space right here. And it's just like, yeah. Like, I guess there's effort, you know, trying to warp the text, you know, make it a bit funny looking, but look at all of that space. There is so much space here that could be filled out. It's ridiculous. But I mean, yeah, like, essentially, that has just always been my biggest problem, like, reading. I remember being so excited when this finally came out because I pre-ordered it, but then, like, reading it, I realized, wow, I really don't like the humor, the jokes in this, and I felt really bad about comparing it to Nancy, because Nancy's a very funny comic. It is a very funny comic, where the jokes actually come from the characters, and the jokes just are in general, like, timeless and very funny, whereas here, the humor can be really not very timeless at all. There is stuff like this where it's very funny, where it's like, oh, look, she tries to blast off with soda, and it's like, this is a funny mini arc that goes on for a while, where she keeps doing that, and it is very funny. I like it a lot, but still, like I'm complaining about the fact that in this book there is, like, so many strips where the jokes are very like, just only an adult would find that funny at all. And even though that kind of adult we don't really have much of anymore, or if we do, they're fucking old, boomers or whatever the hell. Oh man, being a liberal is so cool. I'm gonna vote the same choice because that's what the media told me. But yeah, like, that kind of humor is just not funny. It's not funny at all. And especially to anyone born now, where it's like, what's so fucking funny about this? It's just something that happened over 50 years ago. I don't fucking care. It's not funny. But yeah, like I'm saying though, there is certain funny jokes where it's like, you know, some jokes can be funny. And I mean, I think I should totally at least say, since I'm talking really negative about the comic, because I do like the art style, and honestly, the art style was one of the reasons why I wanted to check out Mafalda, because I kind of like this, I don't know what you really call this stuff, but I like this very looseness to it, the very looseness, and that's something at times I've tried to emulate, where I like the very loose, free-handing, loose, doodling-esque to it. Juan Padron would also do that plenty. I'd see that a lot in a few, like, I remember I've seen a few Cuban movie posters where they kind of had a similar looseness. And yeah, like I'm saying, that's just something I like. But I mean, yeah, no, like, reading this comic, which, yeah, like, needless to say, it definitely was just a disappointment reading this a bit, because it was not as funny as I thought it would be. Like, there was way more strips that I wasn't really laughing at all than I was, like, laughing at than strips that I actually found really funny. I mean, oh, we got it, guys. They're listening to some really sad news. Look at this, the political news. Isn't this so funny? It's really dumb. Like I'm saying, this is the kind of stuff Matt Groening would find funny. Maybe Mafalda was the inspiration behind. Lisa, you know, maybe Mafalda even was the girl that gave him the foot massage on the airplane. But I mean, yeah, really, it's just a really okay comic. Maybe it gets funny later on, but I mean, look at this page alone. This is not making me laugh at all. I do not care for this at all. I do like her. She's actually a very funny character. She's a very funny character. And then the Lone Ranger actually makes an appearance in this. That is funny. And yeah, more of what I'm talking about, where yeah, there's so much space in the bubble. That's not very good. I will say I do like the detail. Like, I mean, look at that. Look at the patterning on the bed. That's really nice. Oh yeah, I forgot to point out. Okay, so here's something that really bugs me out. Something I definitely should go over is so you'll notice that there's no dates on the strips, right? So there's of course that, right? Where the only number you really get, if you can really look closely at this, is you get a little numbering right here. But then guess what? Outside of that, do you want to know? You want to know what else after that? After that, at the very end, at the actually, I want to go back to that. I want to go back at that. Yeah, I just like that pose. That's very cute. I like that. Yeah, I don't get. Yeah, I get it, guys. Corruption, am I right? It's so funny. You know, I like the political commentary. It's so deep. I like it. It's so funny. It is like the greatest type of humor ever. Honestly, I want to go as far as to say Stone Tosses. It's way more funnier than this shit. This is an all-timer page right here. I like it. Okay, so the most baffling part about this book, right, is so at the very end, you'd think that's where, I don't know, they tell you what year were these strips, what year were these strips printed, and all that. Well, guess what? Nothing. Nothing at all. It just tells you that Quino is the one who drew it, and that's it. It tells you that this came out in 2025, and that's it. What, you expected, oh, what newspaper it was printed in? Nope. What year was this printed in? Is this like the first year of the comic? I don't know, because the book doesn't even tell you that. You know, could you imagine buying a comic book and it tells you, hey, when was this printed at first? No, you don't get to know that. Nah, that's not important at all. Nope, who cares? I do want to point out this, though, I find really baffling, is why on earth is this a government effort? I don't completely understand this. Because according to this is done by New York. And this is a comic from Argentina. You know, it'd be like if the British government decided to restore a comic from Uganda. And it's like, why the fuck would you do that when you have your own comics to restore? Why don't you do that? Oh no, let's restore a comic that's from Argentina. Yeah, that's really important to American culture. Am I right, everybody? It's just counterproductive. No. But I mean, really, this entire book is just very strange. But I mean, this entire book is just a mixed bag. Like I said, you have some interesting art to look over. Like, I mean, oh, look at the detail here, or check out the lining on these fences. That's really good stuff. Really great detail. Like I said, it's not like an entire waste of time. Like, you get some interesting art, but at the same time, you have like a number of jokes that are not very funny. What kid would ever care about world overpopulation? None. Because it doesn't fucking matter. No, who fucking cares about that? Who cares, okay? You know what's really important? Football. That's more interesting. And no, I don't mean American football. I mean world soccer. I mean world football, okay? I mean that. But I mean, yeah, no. If you ever want to get this, I mean, you better like at least like rent it or borrow it from a library. I guess that's what it's worth. But this is just definitely the biggest disappointment of all year when it came to me personally trying to buy comics. I don't intend to get rid of this because I think it's a good book to look over and go, hey, you know, what if I made bad comics? I just look at this and then I go, oh, look at all these jokes that are not very funny. Oh man, democratic sectors. What an okay comic, that's for sure. After going over such a terrible comic, let's go over a comic that I can say is actually pretty good. Nancy wears hats particularly. And the first thing I can tell you is, what do you know? At the very end, guess what they do? They tell you when was it printed. It was printed in 1949 to 1950, and we already know it was in all sorts of newspapers because, well, that's how American comics used to function, where it wasn't just on one newspaper you could find them. And I should say this too, actually, regarding this book is you get a very neat little essay here that I actually like quite a bit. Good stuff, because Mafalda on the other hand, there's nothing. There's no forward or anything on Mafalda. But Nancy, this is definitely what I'm talking about here. This is super funny. Now, I'm not entirely I don't know if it's just me, but a comic art style I've never really been too fond of, honestly, is when characters kind of just look very, how I say, copy and pasted. It's not like I want to say this is a very bad no, not at all. I think Nancy's a very good comic. I like Nancy a lot. I'm just saying, though, it's just something that I myself have never really been personally into. Newspaper comic strips they look very copy-paste, especially the middle 20th century and onwards, where I've always been mainly interested in early newspaper comics because they're drawn a lot more, how I say, a lot more with a touch, and that's what I like a lot. Like, even when you look at like E.C. Segar's Thimble Theater, the characters like kind of like the lines do wobble a bit, they aren't exactly precise and change a bit, and it's really nice to look at. I like that a lot. Whereas Nancy, I can't deny that a lot of the characters look very perfected, very same, very like, I mean, Nancy basically has the same two heads here, like same angle, same everything, and that sort. But the thing I definitely gotta go over about this book is, without a doubt, the fact that this is actually very funny, a very funny comic, because a lot of the jokes actually come from the characters. The jokes actually come from the humor. Like, I mean, look at this one. This is very like the thing about comic strips that at times would suffer, especially say Thimble Theater starring Popeye, where when that became Fleischer cartoons, they lost all the dialogue because, and I say it's a bad thing, because the thing about these comics is, you know, they had a lot of dialogue that was just as funny as the visuals, and the cartoons that honestly came to doing that is actually Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes were cartoons that actually came pretty close to capturing about that, even if they were definitely way more different, because here I'm talking about newspaper comic strips, where what makes them distinct, I'd say, is like they tend to be very down to earth, very about people and all that. Whereas like now, it's not like they're gonna be wacky newspaper strips, not at all. No, like, I mean, Popeye would go on to be on wacky adventures where he'd face off the goons or face off like all sorts of stuff. But that's like cartoons would tend to be of that time. They'd be way more crazier, whereas newspaper comic strips, I like how very simple they can be at times. Even like the Betty Boop one, or the Betty Boop comic strip, is very different because it's about Betty Boop as an actress, as a movie actress, whereas like in the cartoons, from what I heard, they're very different. It's funny because I have a collection where like I haven't see much of it, because when it came to Fleischers, I mainly saw Superman and Popeye, but I should be talking about Nancy, I'm sorry. Nancy, like I'm saying, I'm just praising how, yeah, this is a comic where a lot of the jokes are very object, very character-based, just very, like, it comes from the plot. Like, I mean, look at that. Sluggo, he's kind of hot, heating up, so he turns on the fan and then the money flows out the window. That's very funny. That's a very funny joke. And yeah, yeah, the jokes are very funny. I forget the name of Nancy's aunt, but it is funny that she was the one that used to be the main character, and then Nancy took over and became the main character. But I mean, at least like whereas Ham Gravy disappeared, at least her aunt stayed as a character in the comic. Like she'd be like, "Oh, Nancy, what on earth are you doing?" Look, see that made me laugh. I love to stand on furniture. It makes me feel tall. Nancy, how dare you stand on furniture? Go stand inside in the corner. And she's standing on the furniture still. Like, yeah, I like that a lot. That's very funny. Same thing with this one up here that I just noticed now, where she needs a good mirror to thread the needle, and she uses the funny mirror. What awful weather. Oh jeez. What awful weather. I can't go out today. I'll spend the day up in my attic reading old magazines. And then he needs an umbrella. But I mean, yeah, this is very funny. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. This is the kind of stuff that's like way more funnier than any of this crap. Where I mean, yeah, look at this. All these jokes, they're super funny. Like, look at that. Look at that, Sluggo. Your cap is filthy, Sluggo. Let me wash it. Okay. Do you think my cap is dirt dry yet? I guess so. No, it's starch. But I mean, yeah, like I'm saying, this is a very funny comic strip the whole way through. And yeah, it's really funny. I should actually show off. Oh, this is a favorite of mine. I will say this is a favorite of mine. I like this very much. No, this page in general is very funny. There's a lot of jokes that are very funny. I wish you were brave. I love men who lead dangerous lives. Okay. I'm going to the most dangerous place of the town. Oh dear, I'd better stop him. Well, he is in the danger zone. And then the one I was going to talk about. This is fun working at the circus. Pretzel mister. No, I can't stand crumbs in my bed. Presto mister. No, it reminds me too much of work. Because it's a contortionist. See, that's great humor. I like that. I remember skimming through the book and I came across this page and man, this one got a good laugh out of me. Doesn't that paddle hurt? No, clowns wear rubber paddle pads under their clothes. My paddle pad is missing. Yeah, Nancy is flaunting it all out. Wait, cake is in a jar? Oh, I didn't know people used to do that. Oh dear, my cake is burning. Can you stand a little dessert? Oh, dessert. Yeah, he's trying to say dessert. You know, my friend Gordon says something along those lines where when you read it in your mind at first it doesn't sound right, but then you actually read it out loud and then you're like, oh, okay, that's how it's supposed to come across. I think a good comic strip that kind of was a little like that was Little Abner, where they talk it's written really funny, but then when you read it, it's like, oh, okay, I know how they're supposed to speak. Nancy, turn down that radio. It won't play any softer. Then play it softer or turn it off. And she uses one of those. I forget what they're called. If I'm sounding dumb, don't blame me. I do not own. I used to have one of these as a kid, but I don't anymore. Nozzle, I think they were. This is my new whistle. It don't make any sound. It's not supposed to. Then who can hear it? Just dogs. Why don't you look at your own set? Are you kidding? I heard that quite a few monkeys have escaped from here lately. But how did they get out? The walls here are 20 feet high. It sure is a mystery. And you got a bird carrying them out. Alright, I just want to show off one of my favorite strips here. I like this part right here. What's so funny, teehee? Those people, no signs. 2 big features and assorted short subjects. This one always made me laugh. I like that one a lot. Your slip is showing, your slip is showing, your slip is showing. I know it. You know, that's why I don't have my main characters do that anymore. Young man, are you reading or just loafing in here? I'm reading. I still think you're just killing time. I can prove that I've been reading. Jiu-jitsu. My dad would be proud. Oh yeah, since that's the cover. I wish I wasn't so homely. Maybe a flower in my hair will improve my looks. No, maybe I need 2. 2 doesn't help either. Neither does 3. I'm even homelier with 4. I guess this is the only solution. Sniff. Hee hee sniff. Tee. How can you laugh at such a sad movie? That feather keeps tickling me. Oh, Sluggo with the eating the cake. One of my favorite ones, if I can find it, was man, I'm trying to find the there's a comic strip I really want to show, but I can't find it because I keep laughing at every one of these. They're so funny. Like, I mean, look at this solo player one, where it's all because of how he walks. Oh man, this whole thing is very funny. Okay, I have to read this one. I like it. I must be off to work now. Bye bye. Since he's been working in that music store, he's been a perfect angel. I wonder what changed him. And it's because he's been playing the harp. Oh no, yeah, this one where Nancy puts on makeup, I always found that one really funny. Okay, so if I can try to find it without, you know, stopping, because I can't help but laugh at a lot of these. I swear I can't remember. Oh man. Oh, what a nice necklace. May I try it on? My mother said I mustn't take it off. I love to see how I look in it. You know, here's a joke that I didn't realize until now. Aunt Fritzy, I have my report card. I got an A in history. Fine, but how's the general result? Bad. I hope the trash compactor isn't too loud. My neighborhood is getting renovated. Hey, take that camera away from the cage. Those apes are very sensitive and shy. Oh yeah? I like the solution Nancy here has to having her soup. I think that's very funny. A very sweet comic strip I forgot about that I actually really like a lot. And this one is, I like that she likes Sluggo so much that she's about to hang a photo of him on the wall, only to get a bit angry. I like that a lot. Something that really caught me off guard, if I can show it here. I need to have to go back all the way to November to show it, which just happens to be the month that I'm recording this now. If this is the right November, because it might be all the way at the very back of the book. Oh, this is very funny. all sorts of photos in the house. So this is a comic strip I was looking all over in the book. It was in page 144. So of course there is this really funny joke about how yeah, these two strips particularly were, oh, the bee's lazy and then the scarecrow, and he's put on a chair. But this is the strip that I was talking about, where you have this guy and he has very particular eyes. Oh dear, I can't think of what to order. May I suggest something? Oh, you do already. 2 fried eggs coming up. And it's like, yeah, because of them eyes right there. Them big old eyes. Oh yeah. Okay, it took me a while to find. It took me way too long to find it, but okay. The strip that I particularly was just thinking about and just was like, it's really funny to me, is definitely this one where the date is November 25 or 3? Yeah, 3. 2023. I couldn't read at first. Okay, no, this one right here. I just pointed this out because I just think it's funny, even though it's like the same pose drawn over and over. I like Nancy's face in this. It is like the funniest thing to me. Just, it's overly wrinkled. She has her sclera showing because normally she has like dot eyes, but here you see like the white around her pupils. It's like so funny. Oh, why did I eat so much turkey? I'm ashamed of myself. I bet I look terrible. I'll buy a mask and cover my face. I might as well look like how I feel. Yeah, this is a very funny strip here. But yeah, I just go on all day. I could go on all day about this book because like there are so many funny comic strips. I could read the whole thing, but I read like enough. I think one that I missed that I should totally show off for the video because I'm like, yeah, it was pretty funny. If I can find it, because a tip you gotta know if you ever try to find a strip that you found really funny and then you have to go find it, is you have to remember where it was on the page. If you remember it being in the middle, then you'll find it, or if it was on the top corner, you'll find it. It was this one. Knock knock, who is it? May we borrow some tools? Our flying saucer crashed in your yard. Pop. But yeah, Nancy wears hats. The first time I saw this book was when I visited the Fantagraphics store months ago, because I did visit for Seattle a little bit. It was alright, but I remember going there, and yeah, I did get to see the book, but I never bought it until like a month or two later when they had that sale, and yeah, I bought it, and I'm definitely happy I finally got this. I can totally tell you all these, like all the things she's wearing, or like even the clown hat, and all of these you see here. All of these are in this, so it's not like they pull out stuff that's like, oh, that's not in the book. No, everything is in the book. But yeah, it's a shame though this was a paperback. I would have liked if it was a hardcover, because this one should have gone a hardcover. This one right here should have gone a hardcover compared to this hunk of doo-doo, where somehow it warranted a hardcover. So in conclusion, I hope I helped at least sell you on, well, what's the appeal of Nancy, because yeah, I like Nancy for being a very funny comic about very childish things, and I like it for what it is. Like, a lot of the humor is very visual in words. Like, they both play it together, because that's in general the best kind of humor, where they both use your hearing senses and both your seeing senses, and that's the best kind, because a lot of humor you'll find sometimes these days is humor that leans into too much theater. It's not like I dislike silent comedy or anything. That's just more so that I think with I guess film, when you're able to do stuff like visually and then also sound wise, you just totally play into both aspects, and the best movies have been able to do that to a great yard. Sight gags and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, this is a great book, whereas this book is very and really, it's kind of funny. At one point, I wanted to do like a more longer video talking about this, but it's just a disappointing book, really. I'll be surprised if they. I don't even know they're gonna make another one, but I doubt one, especially with especially if with no description, nothing on the back except Mafalda herself and the tag. This is just disappointing. And yeah. But yeah, that concludes this video. I hope it was interesting to you to see me ramble a bit unscripted, because yeah, no, this wasn't scripted whatsoever. I'll probably do something like this again sometime, but yeah. I will say this though, that there is eventually going to be another book review. I would like to do like a proper book review and everything, like I did with the last one. It's just that I haven't finished the book yet. I did put at the very end of that one what the comic might be, and yeah, I'll totally read it up at some point, because like I said, I need to read that entirely first, and then yeah, I'll be sure to make a review about it. But till then, yeah, I hope this was mildly entertaining to you. Like I said, I totally would recommend this book. I love it a lot. I love Nancy. Mafalda, not so much. She it's a good thing her comic strip ended as early as it did, because it was just a very negative comic, whereas this is a very positive, optimistic comic. I love Nancy. Very cute girl. Very, very wonderful comic. I like it. So be sure to check it out. But yeah, till then, have a good day.
I made mention of it in the video, but I really should give a big thank you to Johnny Calcutt for being how I learned about Nancy the comics. As you know, admittedly being a kid, my parents never really let me read newspapers, so if I learned about any kind of comic characters, it was by other sources. And, well, yeah, it's only been really recent years that I've learned about certain characters, such as, yeah, Nancy. I would have never given her comics a chance had I not known about her because of the internet. Which is why I thank you, Johnny Calcutt, because I'd have no idea about her if it weren't for you. Thank you. And honestly, even though I didn't really go on about it enough, if I did ever do another video, I'd love to talk about Nancy and how, well, where she came from, because she was at first a side character in her aunt's comic, and the funny thing I learned is that her aunt's comic, Ritz, wasn't even created by Ernie Bushmiller. It was created by someone else, and then it became a Ernie Bushmiller comic, and he introduced his own characters, which led to Nancy. But yeah, this is the real end of the video. Thank you for looking through and watching my my rambles as I flick through my comics. Thank you.